Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the AMA. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. Thank you for being here. I wanted to come on and just celebrate the fact we've hit 4,000 users on our Facebook group, and I want to thank Rob Mead, amazingly engaged community member, for even noticing that fact. So thank you, Rob, and thank you all for being here. I just want to answer any questions about our community in this brief AMA. What's it all about? Where are the community sites? How does it work? What's the future of it? Etc. etc. So yeah, shoot ahead.
I think there's not a lot of people in the voice lounge right now.
Yeah, I'm only seeing a handful, so maybe we'll get some questions over in Hash Lounge. I came on here also because I'm seeing 837 people online, but perhaps they're all just logged in, but not actually here. So we'll see how busy it gets. Normally it's busier than this, but it is a Sunday, so let's see. So I'm also streaming this over to our YouTube channel, just to practice the idea that all of these AMAs will be recorded and kept over on the YouTube channel. They will be behind the paywall because I think that if you miss it here, then I think it's fair that you're either here live or you have to go over to the YouTube channel. Yeah, you're right. So who was chatting to me just a second ago? Which I couldn't see which icon was lighting up. Sorry, who was
Oh,
chatting? Who was
that
chatting?
was me, Liganesh.
Hey, Ganesh, how you doing? How's your
I'm
weekend?
good. How are you?
How's your weekend been?
Pretty amazing. I got a call on Friday that remember the interview I told you guys on the last AMA that we had on Wednesday that I was interviewing on Thursday?
Yep, I remember.
They called me on Friday and they told me that I got the job and I was pretty excited.
Awesome.
So
Well done, Ganesh.
It's a C sharp. It's a web apps application in C sharp and .NET,
Great.
and it's for a VoIP company. So I'll be starting on March 1st. And guess what? I told you I was gonna subscribe to the YouTube channel if I got that job. So I guess I'm now doing it.
Yeah, you've got to commit. Absolutely. Yeah, the YouTube
Yep.
channel is part of our community. Of course, it's brand new, the premium channel. We're just going to be putting courses both on Udemy and on the YouTube channel to give people two different ways, whether you want to buy one-off courses or subscribe to the channel. It's kind of two options of doing the same thing. It also opens up the
Uh-huh.
door for things like 4K streaming. It's a whole load of cool things about YouTube. YouTube is really fast, really reliable. It's not available in every country, but yeah, we're quite excited about YouTube long term.
Mm-hmm. One suggestion, I think you should do at here or at everybody on the lounge to let everyone know that the AMA started because there is only like 7 people here right now listening.
No problem. I'll do that. Awesome, Ganesh. Yeah, it's usually a lot busier, but it's interesting. It doesn't seem to correlate how many people are on. Look like they're online on the right hand side. You know, the number of online members versus the
There
actual
they are.
busyness. Ah, there they come. Cool. Welcome everybody. Now they're flooding in. That at everyone seems to do the job. Good evening. We have Ganesh chatting, and we're talking about the community, celebrating the fact we've hit 4,000 people over on the Facebook group. Rob Mead. I don't know who of you know Rob Mead. If you know Rob Mead, say so over in Hash Lounge. He's fantastically helpful on the courses, particularly on the Discord site. Big shout out to Rob for noticing. He's my homeboy. So obviously keep your mics muted unless you're asking questions. That's great. Questions as always in these AMAs, prefix with QSTN. Make sure we don't get feedback on the voice would be great. I will preferentially answer questions that come by voice because it's nice to hear other people's voices, but also I will answer text questions.
Been ready.
What's that?
I just wanted to jump in. So I was curious where you see the future of what you're doing going as far as courses, where you want to take it, where you think we're going.
Okay, so continue to make some of the world's best game development courses. It's as simple as that. It's such a wide and varied topic. We want to teach everything from C Sharp, Unity, Unreal, but also the art creative side, as we already are. So our primary focus right now is the RPG, the Unity RPG project. It's the most complicated, biggest thing we've picked up. That's going to take us months to do. When that's finished, we're then going to go kind of back to basics and make sure that the basics are covered. CryEngine, Unity 2017, possibly Game Maker Studio, 2D art in Photoshop and or GIMP, etc. So does that answer your question, or if you some other sort of angle on it you wanted to know?
That does, for the most part. I was kind of looking more specific on specific courses you were looking at, but it does answer my question because you did go into a little bit of specifics.
Cool. So the voting pages I keep directing people to, that gives some idea of what's coming up as well. But the YouTube channel also is going to facilitate us dipping our toe into the water of new content and not have to kind of have this huge behemoth of a massive course that we need to commit. So, and then we can start building out from small amounts of content into bigger courses. Robbie Woods is asking, without QSTN, but I caught your question, Robbie, asking which course the Unity RPG of. It's part of its own brand new course, and it'll be available shortly. It's not quite available yet. It's going out to the early access backers early next week, but we'll be sure to announce it. Yeah, Pact Publishing, Duranda, Pact Publishing keep asking me to do stuff, video courses, books, etc. I've turned that down so far because I want to focus on what I'm doing with you guys. So any other questions in voice or in text? Remember, use QSTN.
I sort of have a follow-up to the last question.
Cool, go ahead.
I know right now you're kind of focused on Unity and game development, but do you see a future where you might be doing more general programming stuff, or do you think there's already good resources like Free Code Camp and Codecademy that do that well enough that you don't ever have to enter into that realm?
We'll only do it if our students say, look, we really can't get what we need somewhere else, and then we'd do it. Our focus is to empower game developers because it's already... It requires good C# knowledge. We want to teach people from scratch. So if you're not getting what you need from us in things like the Unity course, we understand that Unity even the Unity course maybe starts a little fast and maybe doesn't go into enough depth in C#.
I think it's a great pace, honestly, because I started with the Unity course and then I decided that I wanted to kind of get more into this. So I started doing Free Code Camp's curriculum and kind of doing this alongside of it. And I honestly think it's been moving at an awesome pace, but that's just me.
Cool. Well, so what'll happen is as the games get more advanced, starting with the Unity RPG, we'll be forced to use more of C#'s features. So you will get deeper into C# just by going through heavy, kind of more complex projects.
I'm in Glitch Garden now, and I don't like. I was afraid the whole time that it would like the next section's gonna be too tough for me. There's no way I'm gonna get through it. How the hell am I gonna make a brick breaker, right? But yeah. Every single time I get through it, and you guys, I really, really thank you very, very much.
Well, thank you. It makes all our work worth doing. Thank you. So, Gwynblade17, question is, early access backing, I presume, for the RPG still open? No, we're in a black hole with the RPG right now. Too late to do early access backing. Early access backers have had three live streams, and they're going to get content over the next month before anybody else to help us guide the direction. But then it will be available to the public. So hold your horses, but it's going to be a great, great course. It's complicated for us to put together, but fun. Is the RPG course for beginners or immediate? It's going to be intermediate, Robbie. We're just deciding, actually, whether it's a step-by-step course like our others, where you literally follow what we do on the screen, or whether we use the work we've already done, the prototype work we've already done, to kind of do daily... We're thinking of doing something called daily briefs, where we say, well, look, in day one, we're going to focus on this, day two, we're going to focus on the other. And rather than spoon-feeding you every line of code we write, it would be a question of showing you what we've done each day and then explaining how it all works and what the thoughts are, and then providing the code and the modules for you to put it together. So that's the latest thinking. We need to test out on the early access backers. But yeah, it won't be a beginner course. You will need some prerequisite knowledge. Starting off with your first game being an RPG would be a little crazy. Lucky 10, are you ever going to look into Amazon Lumberyard? Yes, basically. And it'll be almost certainly this year. They're very keen on us working with them on that. And that is based on CryEngine. Marketing and publicity for game devs. Yes, Gwynblade, some of that will be in the RPG course because we're going to be publishing that to Steam. It'll be in there at an intermediate level. Then we'll cover the fundamentals of marketing and publicity next year when we go back to basics with that part of the business. So, yep, definitely. What do we do after we finish UE4? Any more plans for it? Well, after testing grounds, that'll be the end of the non-VR content in UE4. Then there will be some VR content coming for UE4 and almost certainly some network content coming for UE4 and Unity. So no RPG course for Unreal at the moment. We don't have any particular plans for that. Although somebody who's keen on building an RPG in Unreal could follow the Unity one and still build an Unreal course, provided they A, had some Unity experience and B, some Unreal experience. Because it's the principles of the architecture and how you put it together. And there's going to be a lot of game design and level design and marketing and business and stuff in there as well. So Uzumaki, how do you say that? Uzumaki, if you've got a voice, tell me how you say it, and I'll be happy to answer your question. And Lai Ganesh, of course, you can give a shout out. So do you want to go ahead and do that, Lai Ganesh, and then we'll answer Uzu?
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to give a shout out to a few people here. I wanted to say Dan M, who is also on Voice Lounge, the moderators and the admins. Like, you guys make this group amazing, and it's a really good experience. I came here to the Discord only a few weeks after it launched. I think it was when back we had a maximum of 150 people. And seeing it grow like this and seeing everyone help each other is just an amazing thing. It's a part of a community that I really wanted to be since the beginning, and I wanted to thank you all for that.
Oh, thank you, Lai Ganesh. Look at the response to your gratitude call there. The thumbs up are growing. Awesome, Lai Ganesh. Thank you. And yeah, Dan M's amazing. He's our student instructor on Unreal. He just has always been amazing at answering questions and also pointing out my mistakes in the course as well. And I'm quick to fix the content. We've made hundreds of patches to Unreal, thousands of patches to the Unity course. In fact, just before I started this AMA, I was busy doing patches to the Unity course. Bear in mind, this is a course that's over 2 years old now. Still on a daily basis, we make patches and improvements to it. So Dan M there. We've got Nina. Nina from Germany is the student instructor on the Unity course. You'll see that. Thanks, Dan. Nice smile. And also we have Irresistible Jelly, who's probably listening in. Are you, Mark? Maybe not. Anyway, he is the student instructor on Blender. That's pretty cool. So student instructors really help us focus on creating content and building the community. So okay, marketing and so Uzumaki has a second question. Oh, you second the question about marketing. Sorry, you don't have a second question. I'll learn to read one day. Okay, cool. So yes, we will start to cover that. Vital topics. We think that the starting point really is dev, right? Some basic dev, because you kind of, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, let me know what you think, but I think that if you're starting out and you can't even get anything done in a game engine, it feels a bit weird to even be thinking about marketing and business, right? Because it's like, well, where do I even start? If I can't even open the package, unless you're a pure business person, entrepreneur, and you're going to hire devs, then I think that we're starting in the right place, which is let's get some basic competence in using Unity, Unreal, etc. So you get some early belief that, yeah, I could do this, I could become a dev. And obviously, unfortunately, the more you learn, the more you realize there is to learn, but that's what it's all about. Okay, Zediran. I joined a while ago here, but never really kept up with anything. For other people like me, what did we miss? A while ago when, Zedran? Do you mean a while ago, minutes ago? Then watch on YouTube. If you go to the YouTube channel, it is behind the paywall, but you can do a 14-day trial. Then you'll see under live streams and AMA, this is recorded. So I'm putting all of these over there as bonus content for YouTube. Okay, cool. So we have another question at 7:11. Basically, whether we'll have another course for UE4. I think I answered that a minute ago. No, not at the moment. Once the UE4 course is done and the VR and the multiplayer, that's going to be it for UE4 for the moment. We'll let that settle and then we'll go from there. Let's see if there are any other questions. Remember, if your question is not prefixed with QSDN, it'll probably get lost. And remember, you can use your voices. That's an even better way of asking questions. Go on, let's have somebody else ask a question with their actual mouths and things.
Hey, Ben.
Hey.
How important would you say that getting the Android remote working for Unity 4 is? Or should I just hold off on that until Unity 4? Because it seems like the Unity 4 remote's a bit depreciated.
Yeah, not that important. If you're stuck on that, move on. It's a nice to have. It's not a have to have. It's always been a bit flaky, the Unity remote, to be honest with you.
All right, thanks. It seemed useful, but I'm pulling my hair out, so
the thing is that, don't pull your hair out. It's not good. When you get to my age, it falls out anyway. So, The thing is that now everybody who has say on Android, you can deploy to Android easily with no hassles anyway. It used to be that it was really hard to deploy apps with Unity, or relatively hard unless you were a developer, to an iPhone. But since many months ago, everybody who's got an iPhone account or an Apple account actually has an Apple developer account, as long as you just go and tick some boxes. So you can even deploy to iPhone natively for free now. So the Unity remote it's good, but why not just deploy the app straight to the device?
That sounds good. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for using your voice rather than your fingers.
So I've got a question. It's Zendrin again. I've just swapped over to my mic.
Hey, Zendrin.
As a team that's looking, well, we're planning now to move on from single-player games to our first multiplayer game. It's like a simple, like a card game style, one versus one turn-based stuff. What's something that you think we would wish that we had known?
Like Ganesh here. Do you mind if I answer this one?
No, please.
Sure.
I've read a lot, and by experience, I feel as if it's easier if you try to implement the multiplayer as soon as you can, because sometimes you have to meet with the issue that you may have to rewrite a lot of your code to make it networked. And
Yeah, that's something we've heard quite a lot.
yeah,
A lot of people start out making a single-player game and want to convert it to a multiplayer game, and they basically end up rewriting the game.
because they lost track of what goes where. So that's my advice.
Oh yeah, I'd like to second that, because it is a fundamentally different architecture if you're going to be going multiplayer. So that would be a good tip. There's a million other things you always wish you'd known, like for example, on the business side, maybe you wish you'd have spoken to your prospective players or customers much earlier to find out really early what they like and what they don't like. That would be another one.
Okay, so this is sounding pretty good. Those are two things that we've been quite a lot of high priority onto, and something I'm spending quite a lot of time, especially talking to players, like the target audience, and play game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Rick will be giving a lot of good feedback on that in the RPG as we seek to find an actual public audience for that as well, independent of you guys, because it's not. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go on. I'm so British and polite. I could just say, "Shut up, I'm talking."
Or if it was a live RPG.
It's going to be sorry, are you asking whether it's single player or multiplayer, or?
I was wondering if it was turn-based or.
It's going to be real time. R1.
Okay.
Yeah. So Zaha has asked, or however we pronounce it, any news on a 3D space sim like X3 game series for the Unreal course? So yes, of course, we committed to something like that in the Kickstarter. It's not going to be a big game like X3, but we're going to be doing something to do with space in the VR content for Unreal. That will be coming in the coming months. So. Yeah, that's true. So the Mentalist asked him about whether you can tell us about any of your students who've gone on to make particularly interesting projects or release games professionally. I can. Go to the showcases in the community sites and look at the showcases, particularly in Blender, in Unity and Unreal. And there's the link for the community site as a whole. And you'll see, a lot of people have launched professional games, and they've done an amazing job. So, do take a look. There's been some pretty good things out there. No major, top 10 in the app stores yet. We've not been around long enough. We haven't even been around long enough for anybody to develop a big game, But it's coming, and they're doing great. So I'm really, really pleased with that. So somebody else is wondering whether, where are we? Have we as a team co-produced or produced a game and released on Steam? So Rick has got a lot of experience in the industry. He's worked in indie studios, run indie studios. He's worked for Electronic Arts. Rick has. I haven't. That's my secret sauce is that I am learning this just ahead of you guys, and then I team up with experts who've got the industry experience and the knowledge, so that I can teach you through the eyes of somebody who's seeing it for the first time, but I've always got an expert on hand. I hire them in, or I employ them, whatever I need to do to make sure that what we're putting across is relevant in the big picture and is correct from the eyes of somebody with the experience. So we will do once. I personally will have done once we've released the RPG, but Rick is the person on the team at the moment with the plenty of industry experience. How do you become a student instructor, all the other student instructors have just kind of out of the kindness of their own heart been amazing at answering other students' questions, and we've noticed. And then we've asked them if they'd like to be an instructor, and they said yes. So we're not looking for any more right now, but when we do, we'll put a word out there, and that'd be great. So, courses for kids. Yeah, there's some good questions about that. I think that we'll be looking at getready.io. I'll see if I can just quickly find you. 1 second. The link, here you go. Yeah, the chap who runs this is very keen on us teaching it. And what we'll do is put a little bit of content on YouTube as a starting point. And then if people really like it, we'll grow out from there. Yeah, we could also look at Scratch sometime. But Get Ready is a little bit kind of more modern and browser-based. Any plans on character creation or animation in Blender? Well, this ties in a little bit to a question I think I skipped over about whether the RPG is going to be one course or many courses. We're just deciding on that. I think that in order to get this game built in 1 year and teach it, we're going to need to just have me, Rick, and Mike building the game. And then we're going to have to do something like, as I say, daily briefings where we touch base with you guys and tell you what we've done, justify it, show you, and provide you ways of downloading things. If that's the case, then Mikey will be doing that same thing for character creation. But we're still, there's a big uncertainty about exactly how we deliver this RPG right now, because we've got to balance off showing people step by step like we have with other courses with the fact that it's a big job to make a real game. And we need to just find that balance. How about Source Engine? No plans right now for Source Engine. We'd need to be thinking about CryEngine would be the next major engine. iOS dev courses, well, for making a game for iOS, Unity's a pretty good option anyway. So at the moment, we're not thinking about pure iOS, but to do iOS, Xcode, Metal, all that sort of business would be an option in the future if people find they need it after we've done more iOS-focused Unity courses. So,
Ben.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. This is Salamda. I gave this course as a gift to my son. He's 19, but he's never gone into development. So when I told him to get Discord and get into the forums, he kind of got overwhelmed because he comes into the forums, he doesn't know where to go. Same thing with Discord. So if there's like a link you can go, like how do people use these tools in order to, I tried to explain it to him, but I think that was an honest comment on his part that somehow he felt overwhelmed. No, he's getting into Unity right now. Everything's different. And then he comes into these tools and he just said, I've lost. And so he's focusing right now on the course, and he's planning to go into the forums later.
Yeah, I think...
And he knows he has me, so if he gets stuck, he comes to me. But I don't know, other people might have problems with that.
Thank you for the feedback. So Discord's very new, and the community site sort of is. They're both designed. The idea is that you take the course as the starting point, and you take the course, you try and do the challenges, and then in the course it tells you to go and share your work over in the discussions, which means the community forum. And then the idea is that from there you waterfall down through to Discord when you need real-time feedback. So I don't know if anybody else wants to chip in there, but that's how I hope it would work. But I'm on this end of it. You guys are on the other end of it. So if it's not working like that, then let me know. But what I'd like to think happens is you go to discourse, i.e. the forum, you write your question there, and then you come here to get even more real-time feedback on a specific question.
I can't speak for others, but I kind of use this as my centralized location for any of my questions and my learning. Like it's almost like a classroom for me that's open 24/7, and I can always come in here and sometimes chit chat and just kind of dink around, and sometimes actually ask real questions.
Yeah, I want to second that. I also enjoy just hanging out in the Unity or dev lounges and just seeing what people are doing and trying to take little tidbits from their code and try to see what I can learn from that.
Same here.
Would game design discussion go in the dev channel?
I'm sure about that, honestly. I just hang out there because I like to feel like a dev.
For design, you'd be best off in the HashBiz channel for the moment. Business and design,
Okay.
we feel goes together, although people would argue about that all day.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it depends on what you define going together. Like, they go together, but they're not the same thing, but that's kind of like every part of game dev goes together because they all are very integral to other parts.
Exactly.
Like, the design and the business are integral to each other, but so is like the art.
Exactly. The only true separation of the roles is no separation, right? One person can do it all. So any line we draw is artificial. But when I talk about design and business going together, I mean, they're very different roles in that a designer doesn't have to be a business person. But in a tiny team, what I'm trying to say is that you need to make sure you're designing what people want and then promising to people what you can design. So they're both sides of a coin, you know?
That makes
Got
sense. I
Got
might
it.
consider adding a second word into the channel name just so people who are looking to talk about design know, oh, that's right.
Yeah, or I could just make a design channel and see how it goes. Which would you prefer? Just let me know in Hash Lounge. Would you prefer I make it Hash Biz and Design,
Fine.
or would you like a separate design channel? Just put it in Hash Lounge for me.
Either is fine for me.
I'd
Just
say
so whoever wants to talk about design knows where they're going is all. It doesn't matter which channel it is, just as long as they know which one that they're supposed to be.
I will feel more comfortable with like having one, especially for design, because you can share your links there. They don't get messed up with. I do believe the business side of it is really important if you want to do this professionally. But there may be other people who just want to, do games in the meanwhile, and a good game, a fun game, has to do a lot with good design. So I will vote for a separate launch on it.
Cool. There it is. It exists.
Awesome. Sounds good to me.
Do we have room for another question?
Absolutely. So I was just welcoming people to the Hash Design. So just got to look at the watch. Yeah, we've got 4 minutes. So I'm going to go on half past the hour. So Biotech is asking about buying the Unreal C++ course for making a story-based game. Will it help? Will it help you make the story? No. Will it help you make a game, particularly something with a first or third person game? Yes. If you want to know about story and games, the RPG course that's upcoming is the thing you need. Is there going to be a discount on the RPG course when it first launches? Yes, we always do that. We'll send that out by Udemy. And yeah, whoever had a question in voice, let's go for that.
Sweet, that was me. With Ludum Dare coming up, do you have any tips for a small team that might be looking to compete in the compo? Workflow tips, preparation tips, something to anyone can chime in on this, not just you. Anyone that's done a jam before.
Is this for Global Game Jam or something?
Ludum Dare. Ludum Dare is next month or April 20th, I think is when it starts.
I'll just post a link to it.
Sure. It's like one of the oldest compos in existence. Here, I'll post the link now.
Yeah, I've just done that. Sorry, I was just saying I've just done it.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, each year we do think about, but never do anything about actually partaking in that because we've just been so busy. I think that we're going to miss it again this year, but I think the community is so thriving now that I think you can push us to next year, try and get involved as a community because that'd be a lot of fun.
Do you have any tips for somebody who might be trying to get involved to kind of work in that 72-hour workflow? Any tips in regards to trying to get something done, prototyping as quick as possible and getting something done and on the board,
Could I give a tip?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, dude, anyone.
Just go like the course does. Take everything step by step. Plan out your final objective, and slowly implement features. And then you, you have a prototype done as fast as possible because that's the trick to programming effectively. Just implement everything in small steps, test it, and then keep going when you succeed on the first steps.
So prototype as fast as possible and drink lots of water.
Yep.
Yeah. If you
something that I would say can help is pick what you want to do as fast as you possibly can, because you're more likely to be successful taking an idea and making it good than you are spending your first 24 hours shuffling through a million different ideas and trying to get a quote-unquote good one.
So keep brainstorming to a minimum, maybe a couple hours at most, and that's probably even on the long side. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to second that.
Just like
sorry, I've judged a few game jams, and it all comes down to execution. The idea is it kind of a well executed idea is the one that always wins from the ones that I've judged and been part of. So I totally want to second that. Get in there, keep moving, keep doing stuff. Be aware of never going to need it, particularly with the coding. Let's not make beautiful architecture that's designed to be, easy to maintain in 20 years' time. Just get stuff done.
Let's just get a working game done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Argoy. Oh, I don't know how on earth to pronounce that. Argoy. Argo. Oh, help. Anyway, him, her, them asked, "What's the purpose of the Facebook group? How's it different to GameDev.tv? Should everyone join it? You don't have to join it. It's just Facebook, isn't it? I mean, so everyone has Facebook on their phone. It's less threaded. It's kind of flatter than the community site. You're not going to have a persistent thread talking about it's not as organized. It doesn't have code formatting, but it's Facebook, and popular stuff bubbles to the top, and it's just Facebook. I mean, people interact with us where they want to interact with us, and a lot of people love the Facebook groups. So try it. If you don't like it, stop. Coco 2D, we're not planning on doing anything at the moment, but it's not to say we won't ever. We will be continuing to do Unreal content, don't get me wrong. It's just that we're kind of done as much Unreal content as there is pull for from you guys at the moment. And
Also, I've actually participated in one global game jam, and we won a hardcore award. For that, what we definitely did was paper. You want to test any game on paper first. Like, build a paper prototype first and always try and play it that before you do any programming. Because if it's not fun in execution, then just don't bother, move on to something else.
What do you mean play it in paper? I don't quite comprehend what you mean by that.
Like, for example, we wanted to make a game where you have to escape from a monster. So we just built like paper models, and we built like a paper level first. And then we tried to like emulate how everything would happen in a game. And it worked for us, and that's after we programmed it, it kind of like flowed in together, if you know what I mean.
I see how you're doing this. It's kind of to give an idea, a visual idea of what the game is going to be.
Yeah,
I follow now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It sounds like a
Also,
good idea.
this is a kind of a cheating thing that I do, but even at my work, what I do is like, Ben's code, like how he tells us to set up the levels with the scene manager and everything like that. Before we develop any game, what I usually do is I have to like reprogram all the level manager thing with Ben's code, and I have to modify that so you can have like little like Lego blocks of snippets of code and bring it with you.
That's not cheating for
just
this
like,
particular jam. And as long as you're working with the team or you're entering in the compo, the 72-hour jam, you can use pre-existing.
Most programming is just like reading and copying, modifying code, aside from building your own anyway. So.
Yeah, and that answers the mentalist question about what in the RPG. What's the scope of that? There's going to be a lot more of this in the RPG, and bringing blocks of things together rather than starting everything from scratch. It's going to be there's going to be a lot about collaboration. There's going to be a lot about using source control. There's going to be a lot about game design and difficulty and moments and player experience and emotion. And is everything about our game is going to be as this funny and absurd? But if your game's about being dark or about revenge, then we'll be making sure you're always asking the question, does what I'm about to do contribute to the overall core theme of the game, So, yeah, very different in that respect. I think I need to wrap up in a second. So, we do have a question about complex AI. One day we'd like to do that. It's not going to be this year. We would love to get into deep learning and all that sort of stuff when it's relevant to games and when we find the right time. But we do have some content for things like A-star pathfinding and other simple environmental sensors and this sort of stuff. I bought that content but haven't had a chance to teach it. That will be probably later in this year, maybe next year now. But yeah, that will come, but it's intermediate content.
Ben, last question, voice maybe?
Yeah, please. Or not.
Oh, hold on. Am I...
You're coming
can
out
you hear
now.
me?
Yep.
You got the floor.
All right. I've been with Unity for 4 years, I think, already. And what I really struggle with is the multiplayer. So is there a plan that you guys make a multiplayer course that will be discussed probably different genres and kind of concentrate on how to get the multiplayer part of the game with this particular genre?
Yeah, I think we will teach it in a way that's independent of the genre, but we'll teach it from the fundamentals up. And Sam is very keen on working with me on that. And it should be this year that because there's a lot of people really wanting multiplayer. So I talked about this briefly in the last AMA, but the idea is to start with shared co-op, so shared screen co-op, like couch shared screen, and then split screen, and then LAN, and then internet, and then massively multiplayer. So yeah, that is something we want to cover, but we want to cover it properly from the basics, because I think if you rush that, then you get really confused about what's going on when you start getting packet loss or lag or problems with your matchmaking system or whatever. So we want to cover it properly.
That sounds really good. One thing I noticed with I was learning a bit of multiplayer stuff for Unreal just to get dip my toes into networking, and I found that the tutorials that they did for the Steam multiplayer, you weren't learning any fundamentals, and I had to constantly debug it. And I also found like things being stored in scripts redundantly or in the wrong script, and also not teaching you about like remote procedure calls versus variable replication and when they're appropriate and why you don't need to do both of them, and you would just do both of them on them and you would just not really learn anything. You'd end up with a working Steam prototype, but you wouldn't understand why anything was working.
Absolutely. And you'd have no chance of doing something novel, like a new sharded massively multiplayer online system or something. You'd be beholden to all the systems that are out there. Somebody's really echoing, by the way. I don't know who's that. Thank you. The other angle on it's not just the technical side, but there's also the game design side. You'd think, well, why would we bother with a shared screen multiplayer? Well, you've got to think about the UI, you've got to think about the control, you've got to think about player profiles on console, you've got to think about all those sort of things. You've got to think about affordances and menu systems and tons of stuff. So we'll build it up step by step, and I'm pretty confident that's the right learning journey that I just mentioned. And then by the end of it, yeah, you'll really know what's going on. So. All right, guys.
Also, two topics on that multiplayer stuff is the synchronous multiplayer that many people struggle with, and also the kind of stuff that you get with the limits that different providers of Unity networking give you, like how many concurrent users you can have with your game at the time.
Yeah. So the way I would like to teach it is that you understand enough about the fundamentals that if you wanted to, you could just write your own networking system. But instead of doing that, you look and see what's in the market and you decide what the merits of it based on a position of knowledge and power, rather than being beholden to what's out there. Maybe some of you'll write the next networking system, but we need to really start at the basics and give you a deep understanding to do that. So that would be the plan, but give us a few months. We need to get deep into this RPG first. So I need to go. I've got to go and get some dinner. I've got to go and do some exercise. So look, it's been great. Thank you for another very engaged AMA. Is there any way to access the RPG before release? No, that is a little tiny bit. The content that's on the YouTube channel, if anybody's seen it, is not really the content. The content is going to be on Udemy, and it's going to be for the early access backers, and that's the place where we're really going to be developing the early content. The reason we're pushing some of it to the YouTube channel is just to test the process of simultaneously pushing to YouTube and Udemy. We've had to write a lot of automation to do that properly, not because it's hard to upload videos, because it's hard to upload them and edit them fast and efficiently, so that when you guys make suggestions, we can make improvements. So yeah, quite a lot has to go on behind the scenes to make this work, but you guys don't care about that. Well, maybe you do, but
that's not true.
I mean, what you care about is that you get good quality content, right, and a good community. But a lot goes into it. In fact, you can see a little bit about what goes into it by just looking at the update I'm about to post you a link to, which is an update on the RPG. I posted that to Kickstarter. Just have a quick look, because it gives you some idea of what goes on behind the scenes just to make a new course work. And I'll leave you with that. And thank you very much for being here. This will be available recorded on the YouTube channel at some point in the next few hours, if all works well. And I'll see you on the next random AMA, typically announced just a few minutes before.
Ben?
Hello.
Could I just say one more thing before we leave? The YouTube channel, I strongly recommend you subscribe to it. They have plenty of videos out there that are free and helpful. Oh. And I guess that's all I got to say.
Okay.
Thanks, Ben.
I'll pay you later. Wonderful. All right, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good one.
Thank you, Ben.